How's it going, YouTube? My name's Kid Sway, and today I'm gonna be doing a little cook-up for you guys. I also do want to mention that my new song, Mirror Maze, is live on all streaming platforms, and I have an album that also just released. It's called Dissociation. I think it would definitely benefit you if you gave it a listen. I mean, I put a shitload of time into it, did a lot of cool mixing shit. It's like a Mac Miller type of vibe, but it's different. And I produced a couple songs off of it. Links in the description. If you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. Definitely leave a like and a comment, and join my Discord. My server is going to be in the description. In my server, you could join, and, you know, if you're another artist and you want to, you know, make something together, I'm always open for shit like that. But without further ado, let's open Serato. Let's try to find an idea. So I have this ridiculously large sample library that I got from Trava Beats. It's called literally just the boom-bap drum kit, and it comes with probably 50 gigabytes worth of samples. And normally how I have been sampling in the past couple of weeks at least, I kind of just throw shit in and work from there. So let's find something cool. Let's give this one a shot. This seems promising. What I like to do, I just go to set random, and what it does, you do this, and it has some type of algorithm built inside. It'll set a sample at all of the main transients. And then what I like to do is unlink it, so it's not following my BPM. Honestly, I don't really know what BPM I'm gonna go for yet, so let's kind of get a feel real quick. 92. Alright, so now I'm gonna go back into Serato, and I'm gonna have it follow 92. So then what we're gonna do, I like to fuck around with the actual transposition of it, like the pitch, because if you use a sample, if you use a sample and you keep the pitch and everything the same, and it's detectable, you could be copywritten. So what I like to do, I like to make it completely unique and unrecognizable. So we're probably just gonna listen to it for a second and fuck around. Just get a feel for it, start simple, and then add a little bit more of like complexity to your chops. So we're just gonna do this original thing. And then I got this reversed one right here. I'm also probably going to open up Serato on the side. Alright, so I think we have an idea. What I like to do, just to make it a little bit louder. And you could comment and criticize me all you want. OTT is fucking ridiculous. I swear to God, I throw this on almost every sound. And here's why. So the depth, it's a compressor. So the depth is gonna compress it the most and bring out these attributes, at least to what I'm, you know, aware of. I don't really know exactly how this works 100%. When your depth is at 0, there's nothing happening. And then when you bring it up, it's gonna bring all of these to more of like a prominent level. So I like to find a balance where I give it some depth, and then I bring the in gain down and bring the out gain up, and then I choose which frequencies I want to be most prominent. So normally, like, what I like to follow when I'm beat making, I like my mids and my highs to be the most prominent, because then I cut the bass out and I do my own bass line and add my own low end to the beat. And then we're gonna give it some attack on the envelope, but we're gonna make it cut out as soon as the note's no longer depressed. It's very sub-heavy, but what we're gonna do now is cut out the low end in the sample. And then we just give it some basic EQ and compression. Once again with OTT. I don't like to boost the shit out of the sub because you play it in a car and it just completely shakes everything, which is cool if you want it to be like that, but I don't. Alright, so now let's do some a little bit of drum work. What do I want to use is the real question. I think I've used this exact drum sample in like multiple fucking songs. And then I pitched it up a little bit just so it's in the same tuning as the beat. What I'm gonna do, I'll throw a little bit of EQ on it. Also on the master, I'm gonna put a soft clipper just because we're doing hip hop. If I'm doing any other genre and you want a completely clean and uninterrupted low end, you do not put soft clipper on the master. But now since I have this on the master, if I boost the shit out of the bass, it's not just gonna overpower the beat, it's gonna distort like the output. Like that, which is cool in this genre. So I like to get rid of like the boxiness, which is right here. I bring up some over here and then take out some of the super high end. Of course, we throw OTT on everything, so I don't like to compress it too much because it gets rid of the original type of kick sound and brings out the tonal, which I don't want. So we're going to bring it down a little bit. Give it a little bit of low end. Take out... Sometimes I like to cut the mids out. So now we have like this really old school sounding kick, which is really bassy, even more so than it originally was when I threw it in. So this was the original, and this is the new. And now we're just gonna lay down a pattern. So let's just lay down some drums. And this is this little arrangement I'm doing. It's literally just your boom-bap arrangement. You go into a 6th beat, or if you're in a really fast tempo, you'd even go as far as to say you do a 3rd. But since I'm a little bit slower and we're in 92, we're gonna do 1/6 of a beat on the grid, and on 5 right here, you put a note. And then on 1 on the next beat, you put a note, so it goes da-dum. So you have that like boom-bap type of feel. As long as it makes sense and it doesn't really mess up the groove at all, just do whatever the fuck you want. You also want it to kind of go with the bass, but it doesn't have to. It really doesn't have to. And then we got the whole 4-bar loop. And what I like to do, so you Control A, select everything, then you go Alt R, and this is going to be your randomizer. So we don't want to randomize the pattern, so if that's selected, deselect that. Go down to your levels, and just think about what instrument you're using. We're using a kick, so the pitch isn't going to change much. You don't want to change really the filter too much unless you're weird. It's not going to pan around because the kick is centered, so all we're really going to be changing is velocity and release. It shows you right here exactly what it's doing, but it's changing how hard each MIDI note is depressed, which could give a song kind of like some type of stylistic like drum work to it, so it doesn't sound like it's all laid out on a grid like I did. And then we're gonna change velocity a little bit, so some hit harder than others, some hit a little bit quieter, and we're just gonna accept. And then what I always like to do, you go into here and you shift your porta, which gives it like a little bit of a swing. So if you do it all the way, it's terrible. But you want to give it a little bit, and it's going to make each note hit a little bit later than it is on the grid, because when an acoustic drummer plays a kick, it's not always completely on time. At least not in this genre. You kind of want a little bit of variation and you want to humanize it a little bit. So I like to give it a little bit of a shift. So I'll show you what that sounds like. Alright, so we got a pretty cool sounding kick. Let's get a snare real quick. I use like the same snare every time, but it's like, it's what it is. I like to do some fun stuff. So I shift the snare as well, just a little bit. So it hits a little bit later. Throw it into an EQ. I like to take out a good amount of the high end, just because the kick is like old school sounding. So I like to match that with the snare a little bit. Take a little bit of that out. I like to bring the bass up a little bit. And then cut my subs. So it's before and after. And then I'll even go as far as to throw a tiny little, like a room reverb on it. It's just a really short decay type of reverb that gives it like a space kind of feel. Take out a lot of the bass, even take out some of the high. Alright, so now we'll give it a little pattern. And then I like to do this. In an actual acoustic drum scenario, it's not just the same, it's not just like on a grid. Like they'll kind of do something like this. Normally you would have a snare right here. But instead I'm kind of just dragging it out. I'm gonna let the beat kind of be a little bit unusual, because an unusual beat in like a boom-bap scenario is really cool. Alright, let's continue. Now we give it some hats. You don't want your hats to be this loud. We're gonna fix that though. So you also want to EQ them so it's not cutting through the mix too much. You kind of want it to just, you want all your drums to be a very similar type of frequency spectrum, just because you're trying to simulate an actual drum recording where they're not really using that many different types of like drum kits. It's like one drum kit. You want everything to kind of have continuity. So we're gonna flatten it out a bit. Take out some of the tail end. And just fucking, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. Let me show you my arrangement. I might even just copy the first thing I did. And I'm not really liking too much of this high end, so we're just gonna cut a little bit more out. And once again, we're gonna shift the note a little bit. Next thing I like to do every time, I'll pan my hats a little bit to the left, just because that's where they're located on an acoustic drum kit. The snare, you could even go a tiny bit as well. And now we're gonna get a very subtle hi-hat. Not a trap hi-hat, we're gonna get an acoustic one. And then we're gonna shift this a little bit. Alright, so this one's really quiet, as you could hear. So we're gonna go here and we're just gonna throw some OTT on it. Bring up the mids, a little bit of lows, and cut out some of the high. And then we could even throw it into the reverb. So, you know, you give it a little bit of a swing, make it kind of bouncy, fucking add some more of like these really short hi-hats. And then that kind of gives it like, you know, it sounds exactly like somebody's kind of just doing a bunch of like short little taps on a hat, like. And I like that, so we're just gonna copy it over. So I'm just gonna split everything up by track. Now we gotta make another section, or at least, you don't have to. I like making multiple sections in my beats. So we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna throw Serato on here. There we go. Alright, now we got a little beat. By little, I mean almost 3 minutes. Alright, now we're gonna write some lyrics over it. So I'm literally just gonna cut, and then the next thing you guys are gonna see is the completed song. I'll show you what that sounds like in just a moment, but hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and I do plan on doing more videos like this in the future, just because it's a little bit more entertaining than just dropping a music video every now and then. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I will talk to you guys in the next one, and I am going to go and write some lyrics and spit some bars. Alright, I'm out. Goodbye. We chopping it up, now Gordon Ramsay. This shit that I'm cooking might win a Grammy. I am a god that you can't see. These motherfuckers always acting blind. I Stevie Wonder why I've been wasting all of my time. I see you under every disguise, picking you apart until there's nothing that you can't hide. The shit I gotta do just to get by. Music gets you real hot. I found me a hobby, I'm in this bitch until I die. I flow so naturally, I run without a battery. The way I'm abusing the beat, I'm doing it casually. I body my beats, there'll probably be a couple casualties. This shit is fatal, I'm a psychopath killer. The way I'm producing, I swear I sound like Jay Dilla. I pick up a sample and lay it down like a pillow. I'm swimming with all of these fishes, I'm a shark while y'all are minnows. Don't underestimate me, not even a little. Yo, could do this shit until my final breath. Even if I only make a couple cents, I'll keep on making sense. It's hard to think beyond the present tense. Loosen up a bit and lock it in, you gotta pay the rent. It's crazy how I'm making money, keep on getting paid to vent. At least somebody listened to me in the very end. Keep on getting harder to make it into the next day. Hold my shit together like a bed frame. Acing these tests, I ain't in Penn State. Counting these
commas and making bad franks. Get a feature from me, better say thanks. In my happy place, digital audio workstation, mixing lyrics with a sample and some equations. I make a hit, you can play him at any occasion. Became a master of rapping, I am a Caucasian. Okay, the clock keeps ticking and the mind keeps spinning. We don't get a break, same shit over and over every single day. Like a sailboat, riding the beat, keep on chasing the waves. Rockstar status, no GTA. Yeah, I got too much, I'm juggling, could care about my GPA. No grade point average, I'm delivering a package same day delivery. Do it quicker than Amazon. You treat me like a king, motherfucker, grew up in Babylon. Making this foundation for me to put the castle on. 24 karat gold throne that I sat upon.